According to Sling, we are live. Let me switch over to your YouTube feed. And we are live on there. Yeah.
Are we live?
Yes, we are live.
Oh.
I see you.
Hey.
See you wiping the sweat there.
It's hot in here. So I guess we're ready for the live stream?
I think so.
Okay.
Let me feng shui my stuff here.
So, what's happening, everybody? I'm Steve, and welcome back to Drunk Drummer TV. Today's video, I'm going to attempt to pull back the curtain of what goes on in the studio. I did this once before, but didn't turn out as well as I wanted it to. Today, I'm going to record at least the first section of my metal band's new song, which will eventually be for the new record. When I talk to non-musicians who've never been in the studio, I get the idea that they think that the studio is really just the process of coming in, setting your stuff up, and playing the song once and being done with it. Almost as if a record is just, say 12 songs, you set down, you do 12 takes, and boom, the song or the record is finished. And I assure you that's not how it goes. I've noticed a lot when I watch a lot of YouTube cover videos that look really slick and perfect. And this isn't all of them, but I see a lot of cuts. And that's fine, because that's the recording process. So I'm going to show you how it's done in the studio. I've recorded about 16 or 17 records. I think when we go to finish this record that I'm working on now, it'll be 18 or 19, something like that. And this is going to be just like a 3.5 minute beginning part of a song that has 3 different sections. It's about a 6.5, 7 minute song. And because I'm going to play this song 3 or 4 times for you, I didn't want to try to do 6, 7 minutes, because then that would make for like a 2-hour video. Also, after I do this from the live stream, I'm going to cut this all up, and this will be also the video for next week. The best way I can describe being in the studio is like comparing it to playing live. When you play live, it's like you're driving your car and you're driving along and everything's fine. Because you're playing notes and they're going out into the ether, never to be heard from again. And when you're in the studio and you know you're being recorded for what you're doing, it's like driving your car and there's 2 cop cars behind you. Usually, what you're going to hear today is me playing along with a scratch track. So my 2 guitar players and bass player. This band is an instrumental metal band, so we don't have a pesky singer. You're going to be hearing me play with what we call a scratch track. Now, if you've been in the studio, a lot of the things I'm going to talk about today is kind of second nature. But this is really to, again, pull back the curtain to people who've never been in the studio before. Sometimes studio equals pain. Hopefully, we won't see that today. But the scratch track is really just a thing for me to play along with. And the process that we're going to do today is what we call in the business slow tracking. So I'm going to lay the drums down, because 99% of every song you've ever heard, if it's been slow tracked, the drums get laid down first. Because no matter how great the players play after the drum track, if the drum track sucks, then the track can't be good. I know that sounds drum-centric, but it's just true. So I will be laying down this hopefully perfect, magical take, and then the rest of the band will come in and layer on top of. Now that's one way to record. Another way to record is kind of like a lot of the recordings from the 60s and 70s, and I also think that's the reason why that music is so romanticized, is a lot of that stuff's just played live. So you just get in a room and you get as much isolation from the microphones as you possibly can, and you play the song over and over and over and over until everyone involved in that track plays the perfect take. And I've done that too, and that can be painful, but it can also be very magical, because you end up, if you can reach that mojo of a great take, that thing where you just can't write it down for some reason, everything just clicked on that take. Those moments are beautiful. Slow tracking is a little bit easier, because you can just, not have to worry about messing up a guitar player's perfect take. I've done that. Like, we've done a take, and the guitar player has said, "Oh my God, this is the perfect take." And I'm like, "Oh, fuck that up, Jeremy. I'm sorry. We got to do that again." This way, I can just at my leisure play until I get it right. Correct. So we're going to bring in my trusty producer engineer, and I'm going to put the the headphones on, or the cans, as we say in the business. What's up, Max?
What's up, Steve?
This is the disembodied voice of Max, the producer engineer of this session. I've done a lot of work with him. He's a fantastic sound catcher and a very good producer. So he's going to be working with us today as well. I'm really trying to give you all an idea of how this all works. So, Max, I now have my cans on. Can you give me a level? So what we're going to do now is I'm going to get the level of the track, and you will probably notice that I like the metronome really loud, and I like the music really loud in general, for this band especially, because it is a loud stoner instrumental metal band. Max, let me hear a little bit of that track so I can see where we're at.
All right, yes, sir. Here we go. Just kind of tell me when here. I'm going to go ahead and just play it for you.
Okay.
And I think everybody else.
There it is. Let's see. That'll work. Maybe bring it up just a little bit, just a tad, a smidge. Kids out there, if you haven't already destroyed your hearing like I have, try to keep from playing things too loud. But I am 44 years old, and I've played many loud gigs, and my hearing is not, it's shot. But yeah, turn it up just a little bit more, please.
All right. Hey, bear with me for just a minute.
Okay. This is what we call stretching in the business. So one of the things that we skipped, I wanted to really show, getting levels. Another thing that we skipped that I thought would be fucking boring for y'all to watch, but about 30 minutes, and it's one of the reasons that we were a little late. We spent, many minutes hitting one drum and giving that engineer time to dial that in. So the beginning of every recording session is you playing quarter notes for a half hour while engineers get mad at you and you try to add other things in other than this. Because trust me, when an engineer says, "Hey, give me floor tom," and you start this and you start going, they can't stand that shit. Am I right, Max?
You are correct.
Yeah, so give them just that instrument. So while I wait for Max to dial some stuff in, for all of you, because I know I'm going to get it in the comments, the gear that I'm using today, for all you gear nerds, this is a Mapex Mars Pro. And I just bought this drum set. This is only like the 5th or 6th time I've even played it. 24-inch bass drum, 10, 12, 14, 16. I just put brand new Emperors on here. And no, I don't tune to specific tones. I just tune until they sound good to me. The snare drum is a Mapex 14x6 Black Panther, right? Black Panther? Is that right? Yeah, Black Panther, which is their version of the Ludwig Black Beauty. This thing is a shotgun blast. This snare drum is amazing, and I've got an Aquarian high velocity head on that. A Zildjian rock rod, Zildjian rock hats, because this band is very loud. This band, when we play live, it's the same volume as a jet engine going off. All of my crash cymbals are Dreams. I like Dreams a lot because in this band I break a lot of cymbals, so I'm not going to spend, the $300, 300 plus for, Sabian AAs or AAXs, because most of the time I play Sabian on my regular kit, on my other kit. But Dreams are just expensive enough to sound good and just cheap enough to you can break them and you're not going to be mad about it. Because I break a lot of cymbals in this band, unfortunately. And then my China is a good old-fashioned 18-inch Wuhan. Right? And then over here is the China that everyone bitched about in my last live stream. It's a fucking Sabian B8. And I think I like about Chinas is they should sound kind of terrible. And this Sabian B8 sounds like garbage. It's awesome. So that is that. That's all the gear. So again, like I said, the song that I'm going to be playing along with is the first like 3.5 minutes of a 7-minute opus of a tune that's going to be on the new record. And it'll end with a retardando, and I think it resolves. I don't know if it resolves all the way to the one, so it might feel a little weird when I end it. But it's because, again, it's about a 7-minute song, and I want to be able to play this song 3 or 4 times. And I didn't think that, like, trying to play a 7-minute song that many times is going to make for a really long live stream. I don't know if you all want to watch me play the same 7-minute song over and over and over. Something else that we're going to talk about is I'm going to do, I know for a fact, I'm going to do 3 run-throughs. And hopefully, in a perfect world, one of those takes will be perfect. Every groove is exactly right. Every note is perfectly in time and in the pocket. And every drum fill makes sense and works. But that's not how it always works in the studio, I assure you. We're going to talk about like comping. We're going to talk about punching. So at one point, if I do have 2 perfect set run-throughs, which may not be very likely, we're going to demonstrate how you punch. Now, again, if you haven't been in the studio before, Max, are you about ready, sir?
I am.
Okay. Tell you what, we'll get to that later because we're going to want to do at least one run-through here. So this is what really goes on in the studio, warts and all. And if I make a mistake, you're going to know it because I'll make some stupid face. Okay, go ahead and mute this mic.
All right. Here comes that track. I had to. Oh.
Uh-oh. Right here. Am I on again?
You are on.
This right here is a big-time mistake, and I have ruined whole great takes because I have kept the drum key on the drum. And I'm glad I caught that because Max would be yelling at me later if I actually ran a good run-through and you hear this rattling. I have messed up whole good takes because we'll go back and listen to it, and every time I hit the drum that this fucker is on, it starts rattling, and the whole take is messed up. So I'm glad I caught that. Okay, now let's do this.
All right, cool. Here comes that track. All right. Sorry about that. Here we go.
yeah, I made my first
That-
mistake at the very end of that. God damn it.
Did that feel okay in your ears?
Yeah, louder. It needs to be louder.
It needs to be louder. All right.
So yeah, what you just saw there was a mistake, and I actually didn't mean to do that. That was not a kayfabe mistake. I miscounted those hits at the end, so I'm gonna have to go back and do that again. That might be a good spot, although with all those cymbals ringing, maybe not to do a punch later to kind of demonstrate a punch. And yes, I sweat like Shaquille O'Neal when I play the drums. And this always happens in studios. They always have nice air conditioners. And then you have to turn the air conditioners off because we have, 12 mics on the drums or whatever, and it picks up the air conditioning. So you always end up playing in a hot studio no matter how nice of an air conditioner that they have. And they actually have a nice one here, too.
This is why it's nice to record in the winter.
Yeah, no shit, it really is. So, again, you just saw the first take, right? I'm kind of getting warmed up. I didn't really play that much before this. I did just a few little warm-up exercises. And I obviously need to do another take, right? Yes, I fucked up those hits at the very end. I want to just show how much effort it takes to put into recording the perfect track. Now, there are drummers out there, your Josh Freezes, your Larnell Lewises that could just sit down and play the perfect take every time. I used to work with a producer. He used to call them $1,000 a day drummers. Like if I was making a lot of mistakes, he'd be like, now do I need to bring in that $1,000 a day drummer? I also knew he was fucking around because we definitely didn't have $1,000. But the rest of us mere mortals, we have to go in and hammer it out and get it right and hopefully do it in as quick as a time as you can, because that's another thing that you're dealing with is time is money. So every mistake I make, Mr. Max in the studio is making more money because I have to stay here longer. So that's another thing you have to think about. But the idea, getting back to the idea of like taking a track and having to record it over and over and over. American Girl by Tom Petty was recorded in 6 months. They re-recorded that song and re-recorded it over a 6-month period until Jimmy Iovine was happy with the results. And you can't argue with it. So when you hear American Girl, you're not hearing Stan Lynch just sit down and play that song twice. He played that song over and over and over a 6-month period. Now, obviously, when you're a legend and you have lots and lots of money behind you, you can take those kind of times to do it. You have the luxury of that. But those of us who are out there just trying to make our records in the cheapest way possible, we have to get our shit as tight as possible before you get in, make sure everything's practiced, because stuff's going to go wrong. Because again, we're driving with the cop behind us. So now I'm going to, you know what? First, getting back to that, so many takes, I can tell you that I have recorded a song no less than 25 to 30 times before. It's no joke. I've done that multiple times. A lot of those times were when we were all playing at the same time and trying to get that perfect take with everyone playing it right at the same time. Hey, Max, you do a lot of producing around town. Give us like your estimate of how long it's taken you to, like, how long have you seen a drummer do takes? Like, how many takes you think you've seen the most of from a drummer?
Oh, man. From a drummer, it's not usually as many as vocals, but we've been known to do 5, 6, 7 takes at least.
That means you got good drummers in here. Shit. Now, what about vocals?
Oh, hundreds.
Hundreds. So 5, 6, 7. Okay, so that brings up again, like when you talk about 5, 6, or 7. Were those instances where you were slow tracking and then did you go comp afterwards?
Yes.
So I tell you what, and then let me do another take and remind me we're going to talk about the art of comping, which is a new art form that's only really happened over the last, how long has Pro Tools been a thing, Max?
Oh, gosh.
Has it been 30 years, 25?
Probably right around 30 years.
Okay.
That's a pretty safe estimate.
So that's actually a new thing that's, relatively new if you think about all the recordings I made before Pro Tools. We'll talk about comping tracks here in a minute. Let's do it again and see if I can't fuck this one up.
All right. Hey, I do have a question about the stream in here.
Yes.
I may have to have you come look at it real quick. Yeah, we may want to look at it.
Oh, no. Is it not working?
Oh, it's working, but there's nobody watching it because I think the privacy setting is wrong. I'm looking here and it's not popping up. Like it's streaming.
Shit.
Yeah.
Um. Well, if I'm not up, I guess it don't matter. I'll be right there. I'll be in a second.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so everyone who has now made it to the live stream, I have already done about a half hour of work um, up until this point. So I guess if you want to go back and do the first 21 minutes, I am going to recut this and make this into a video for next week. Is my microphone on?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good. Okay, so sorry about that. I have been live streaming, but it has been unlisted, and now we've made it public. I always fuck these live streams up. I've never done a smooth one. So real quick, because I've already done a lot of work the first 21 minutes that you didn't get to see. So if you are here, please go back because I think I did a really good job. But let me explain real quick what we're doing. So I guess this is it's like a soft reset. I'm going to show you what it's like to actually be in the studio. I think a lot of people think that when they see a really nice glossy YouTube cover, they think that's just like one take. Well, a lot of you YouTube drummers out there, I see your cuts. I hear them as well. And that's fine. That's what recording is. So, and I think a lot of non-drummer or non-musicians think that recording a record takes as long as you just go in and you sit down, you do one take of each song, and then a 12-song record is finished just like that. But that's not how it goes. So I'm going to play for you, and I've already done one run through. So please, I did a really good job on the setup of all this. So if you are watching this, I beg of you, go back and watch the first 21 minutes of this. And again, I am going to recut it and make it a video for next week as well. But I messed up on that take. I messed up at the end. So now we're going to do if you're just now watching, this is take number 1, but it's actually take number 2 because this was part of the live stream when it was not public. So are we public in there, Maxwell?
We are public. We got people coming in.
Hey, all right. And also, everyone that's watching, Super Chats are on. And also, please ask any questions. And in case you are just tuning in, I am joined by the fantastic producer, Max, who I've done a lot of work with. He's a fantastic engineer. He's a very good sound capturer. He knows how to get good sounds, and he is the disembodied voice that you're hearing right now, and you'll hear me talking to him. So this is going to be, in actuality, take 2, which is why I'm already sweaty. But if you're just watching, here's take 1. And again, this song is the A section of a 3-section song that's about 7 minutes long. So I'm only recording the first 3.5 minutes, and it does resolve at the end. And I thought that it would just trying to play a 7-minute song 3 times in a row would just end up being too much. But again, I'm sorry about that if you are watching, because I did see where people were like, where'd Steve go? And that was just, again, man, it's the studio. Everything's got to go wrong at some point. Probably my fault. I've never been able to get these live streams to work correctly the first time. So, Max, turn that up again. Turn up the track again, and let's try one more. Let's try a second take.
All right, here it goes. The good news is I think we're a little more dialed in now.
That's good. Do we have people in there?
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Jonan Aites for being our first comment. He says this is going to be fun. Also, I'm going to be reading Steve the comments because he can't see them where he's at.
And even if I had even if I had it in here, I don't have my glasses. I can't read it.
All right, you ready, dude?
Yep.
All right, here we go for real this time.
Have my microphone on?
You were on, sir.
Okay, so there was a few mistakes in that. Might be mistakes that maybe you maybe not catch. Probably if you're a musician, you did catch them. But yeah, there's some problems with that. Which means I need to do another take. And that's what being in the studio is, playing it over and over and over and making sure that every note that you play is perfect and is in time, and not just in time, but in the pocket. And that was a sloppier take than the first take, but that's fine. That's the process. Sweating. So, talk about what we're doing again. If you haven't if you're watching this, you got to go back for the first 21 minutes because I killed it with my introduction and all the things I was talking about. But I'm going to reiterate some of those things now. What we're doing right now is we're slow tracking. So I'm playing along with the track, and my band did a fantastic job of giving me a nice, clean, in-the-pocket track to play along with. So then what will happen next, again, I'm not recording the full song. This is just a demonstration. But in theory, the next step would be, once I get that take, then I'll, bass player will lay his part down and guitar, again, because we don't have a vocalist. One of the things that you can do these days with the advent of hard disk recording is we do a thing called comping. Now, that last track wasn't good enough to really comp from, but what you would do, and I've done this as well, is you take your tracks, do your 4 or 5 takes, and then you go and find, like, what we usually do, and Max, you probably do the same thing. You find, like, that master take that has most of everything you want in it. And then you go through your other takes and cut and paste and put those parts in there, right? If you like And Justice for All, that's how that whole record was recorded. It's not a shot. That's just how And Justice for All was recorded from the drums. And it's something that we've never been able to do before, because when you were recording before hard disk, it was tape. So if you had to do that, you had some poor hapless second engineer cutting tape and putting all these putting all these puzzle pieces together. So it's so much easier to do now. So that last take, the first take I did was pretty damn strong, except for I messed up those crashes at the end. That take had too much going on. So that's a bullshit take. So we're going to do it again.
All right, we ready?
Hold on. So hot. Milk was a terrible choice. Okay, sir.
All right, here we go.
Okay, hey Max, while I'm talking right here, can you go in at the end there with that retardando and mute the metronome from that out?
Sure can.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so that take was better. Some of my organization I'm not happy with. I know all the parts that I want to play on this song because I have played this song a bunch live, but this is the first time I've went to record it. And it's kind of those things where you play a song live a bunch and practice it, and you have all of these different choices that you've made over the evolution of that song. And when you get to the studio and you're in this position, now it's time to boil it down and figure out what was the best of all of those different things that you wrote for it over the time that it was developing as a song. The part I can tell you, the part that it's hard to talk about parts with this song, with this band, because we don't have a singer. So it's like can't really say verse chorus, but the part that's like I guess like the first ride cymbal part. I didn't organize this thing right. I want to get that. No, it's the second ride cymbal part where I want to get that. So I got to get that cleaner, and then I didn't get the third and fourth parts right on that part, or on that section. So we need to do it one mo again. Do we have any questions in there yet, Max?
Oh, should probably unmute my mic, huh? Let me look here.
And if there is any questions while I'm playing and doing this live stream, please ask them, and Brother Max will relay them.
Got a funny one that I've always kind of noticed. Daniel says, you look worried while you drum.
I am. It is. He's right. I talked about that before. That brings up a good one. The usual process of this is if your band's, we're not, I am demonstrating a recording, but we're not recording the actual record now. But when we do, I will have 3 of my really good friends standing in the studio behind the glass, staring at me and judging me. And boy, that does nothing for your anxiety. It makes it for a very stress-free situation. But yeah, when I am recording, I do probably look worried. When I play live, I'm probably less worried. But yeah, I'm trying to concentrate. But yeah, that's probably true.
He did follow it by saying you're sounding awesome.
Well, I hope. Not yet. I've had moments that were really good, and I've just not got everything completely organized the way I want to.
Did have a question about the two China cymbals. Jonan asks which ones you're using. I know you went over that earlier.
Okay, so yeah, I went over that earlier. But again, I'm going to cut this and make it a regular video next week on top of this being a live stream. I've got an 18-inch Wuhan. If you're a Neil Peart fan, for years before he went to Sabian and they actually made like the Paragon China, this was the China that he used. 18-inch Wuhan, man, you can beat the shit out of them, and when they break, they even sound cool. And then this is this one over here is the one that was the big controversy because I've done other live streams from this studio. I love working out of here, and you could see that this is just a fucking Sabian B8, which is a cheap ass cymbal, and man, I think it sounds gnarly as hell. Right, So yeah, I mean, this metal band that I'm playing in, I've only been in it for about 5 years, and it's really the first time that I had ever been in a metal band. I waited till I was like 39, 40 before I played in a metal band. And I was kind of playing my usual gear, and then I was like, oh, I just have to go full metal. I need more toms, more cymbals, more chinas. I'm working on double bass. I don't know if I'll ever be able to get to the point where I can play double bass well enough to play in the band, but... Yeah, this big-ass drum set, which is so much bigger than what I would do with my regular gig, which is with Miss Sasha. If you watched 2 videos ago, put up a video of me playing with her. And in that band, I play 1 bass drum, 2 toms, ride cymbal, 2 crash cymbals, right? So, yeah. And it just looks cool, 2 Chinas. I'm actually not really using this fella on this track. I'll try to put that into this next track. So this is take 3, and first take was pretty darn good, but I messed up the ending, which means that track may be one that we can punch in, and we'll talk about punching after I do this take. The second take was not good, and the last take was okay, but the organization of my parts weren't clear. And that's not going to work because I know I have in my head how I need to do all of this. I just now need to execute, and that is being in the studio. So, Brother Max, let me take a drink of water here.
Sure. You got enough water in there?
Yeah. I'm going to need a beer after this. Yeah. Every studio's always feel comfortable until you start playing.
Do you want to divulge what state you live in?
Nope.
All right.
Nope.
Sorry, dude. We're not telling where we're at.
We're not telling where we're at. You can listen to our accents and make your own figures. Although Max doesn't have the accent that I have. Although Max, I think, is from a different state than me too.
I am indeed.
I thought so. You sound like a Yankee.
A different part of a different state.
Okay, so here we go. Here is take. Oh shit, what are we on? Take 4. Is this 4? Yeah, take 4, and then I'm going to do one more. And then maybe go back on that first take and do a punch in at the end because I think that first take might be the one. But I think I want to do better. I want to do better on this one. So,
well, I have bad news about the first take.
Did you not record it?
Well, I thought we were just checking the headphones.
Oh.
So we got like halfway through it. I was like, oh, he thinks we're recording.
So, but it made it onto the live stream.
It did make it onto the live stream.
Okay.
But yeah, you're gonna kill it on this one.
Okay.
I have a feeling.
Sweet. Let's do this thing.
All right, let's do it. Here we go.
So again, what you're hearing at the end, my mic on?
It is.
Okay,
it is.
good. So what you're hearing there at the end is the B section of that song. It's a slow section that turns into an Iron Maiden ripoff. And when we do actually do this recording, I will be releasing all of this stuff on my channel. Whew. No, that's the best one I've done. Although there was a little time stuff that happened towards the end. Max, give me the metronome up until the retardando. So extend that metronome a little longer until you'll see where it starts slowing down. But and again, because this is a scratch track, I don't have to necessarily get that retardando right with them, because they'll come in and then they'll lay their part on top of me, and then they'll have to pay attention to my retardando. And if you don't know what a retardando is, and there's a reason why I'm using the full term retardando, is that's just a fancy $5 music word for when a part slows down. Again, I sweat like Shaquille O'Neal when I play. I'm only playing for 3.5 minutes at a time. You can imagine what it's like when I play like an hour or 90 minutes. So that was a good take. I'm not sure and won't be able to know until I go back how clean this part was. I think maybe the double, that 16th note I'm doing there might be off a little bit on that last track. So I'm going to do it one more time, and then we're going to go back to. Oh, you didn't record that first take, right?
I did not, and since we're airing our mistakes, that is a rookie engineering mistake. Always be recording.
Always be recording.
Whether you're supposed to be or not.
So I want to do another take because I don't want this video to be too long, and I do need to get out Max's hair at some point. You smell that? That's labor burning. I'm going to do one more take. I'm going to try to make the perfect take. And then I think what we will do, maybe the take before, we're going to, how much of a pain in the ass would it be to do a playback through the headphones and for the good people at the house?
Shouldn't be too much of a problem. Are we doing one more take before that?
Let's do one more take before that, and then I think we'll go back to that second take and try to find that mistake that happens at the end, towards the end of that song, and try to do that as a punch, so we can show them what a punch looks like.
Roger that. Okay,
so let me wipe off my brow here again and do one more take. Now this is what are we on? 4, 5?
This will be number 4 that we recorded.
Okay, 5 altogether, right? 4 altogether.
Fifth run through of the song.
Okay, so yeah, I should be warmed up, and that time I got all of my parts organized correctly. Maybe some of the drum fills weren't as cool as I would have wanted, but that might be a part where we can comp. So go in, and I think that last take is good. I think it's good enough. We won't know until I go into the studio, into the engineer room there, and we do the thing that you always see in all the movies when people are in the studio with all the people vibing around the fucking mixing board. Yeah, we just made shit happen. But that's when I'll find out if I'm right about that last take. And sometimes this is something where people like Max really comes in handy. When you can just sit down behind you're setting down and you're just hammering it over and over and over, you can lose perspective about where you're at. There's been times where the producer's been like, you got it. I'm like, no, 5 more. And then we'll go in there and the producer will be like, yeah, see that one where I told you we got it? We didn't need to do those 5 more. So that's where you need a good producer where you can trust their instincts. And I trust Max really well. Where, I want to do one more for demonstration purposes. But if I got into take mode, and I can go into take mode and just give you 15 if you want them. You need that producer to be like, dude, you got it. Quit, get out of your head. Because, man, being in the studio is a big mental challenge. And you can just feel like every small mistake is gigantic. And you go back and listen, like, oh, fuck, it's not that big a deal at all. So that's why good producers are worth their weight in gold. So this is going to be our final run through of this song. And I think this might be it. I'm feeling good about it. I'm feeling good. I'm not going to look worried this time. I'll probably go look worried. Okay, Max, let's do this.
All right, here we go. Give you half a second to get situated there. And here it is.
that I feel is the best take. Max, which do you think was the best take?
Sorry, I keep hitting the wrong talk button. I'm not in the normal talk channel because it has some weird noise on it. Yeah, I think that one was definitely the best. I think the last one was pretty solid, but yeah, I agree. That was good.
And you know what? One of those hits that I think that I'm messing up. The band is actually slow. The one that I thought I was wrong, I see where it is. There is one note that the band is a little behind on. It's like they almost tried to go retardando before. But that's fine. I'm in time there. So now when we take all that off, now they have a good solid track to go on. Max, let's do any... obviously none of this is going to get published because we're not doing recording with the rest of the band. It's, of course, a demonstration. Find us somewhere... while I'm talking, to find us somewhere that we can do a punch. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So while Max finds us a good place to punch, what a punch is say you did a wonderful track. And this is another thing that was made easier by Pro Tools, although you could punch with tape. You could punch with tape, right, Max?
Yeah.
Okay. And so this is something that's not as new as comping is. But say you've got a perfect take, but there's just one thing in there that's wrong. Now, because I take pride in my work and these kind of things keep me up at night, we can, of course, manipulate digitally and move that note around where it needs to be. But I won't do it. I can't do it. I have nudged, and I've just hated myself in the morning. Nudging it's cheating. Let's be honest. It's cheating. So instead,
I would give pushback and say.
Now I was about to say
in the studio is cheating.
Yeah, I was about to say. The producer's going to be like, it makes my life real easy if I could just nudge a thing and not have to go through the bullshit of doing a punch.
I'm a professional cheater.
I mean, the key is just not get caught, right? I mean, isn't that the whole idea of cheating in general? So I have nudged notes left or right. What that means is, you take that note that's now a digital waveform and you can move it where it needs to be. But I try to keep my performances as pure as I can. So I will, if I find, I would have to say, without listening to it, the last two takes, I've got good takes there. There's got to be, between those two takes would be something that's printable. And if there are little bugaboos in between those two, I would probably comp. Now, I'm okay with comping. Although I think, Max, what do you think about this? I think comping can become overused, and it sometimes will mess with the overall groove of the song. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely preferable to just get it right on one take, but...
But
yeah,
sometimes
I think you're right. Yeah.
Sometimes I think, and I've heard recordings like, oh shit, this is like a comp of like 15 drum tracks, and you just hear it.
You can tell he recorded this one 15 minutes later.
Yep. And I think sometimes it's overdone. But and I've done some comping in my day. What I like to do with comping is I want to get my parts right, and because when I go to write a song, unless it's a signature drum fill. My drum fills are all, for the most part, just coming off the top of my head. Now, if you notice, if you've watched all these takes, there are some drum fills I'm doing exactly the same way every time. Like I'm doing that hirta every time, or herta. Where I'm from, we say hirta, so fuck off. All those people bitch at me for saying hirta. But when I do that herta, that's kind of want that there every time. But yeah, one of the things that I'll do with comping is I'll get my parts right. And because I've done 4 or 5 takes and I know that I've pretty much improvised all those drum fills, I will do a lot of comping in my drum fills more than anything. Just because, like, oh, this is the take, but I like this drum fill that I did 3 takes before, put that in there. So I will do that. I'm not a complete purist when it comes to the art of recording. So have you found us somewhere that we can punch, Maxwell?
Yeah, I can't really listen without everybody listening.
That's fine. Go ahead and do it. So people.
I found us a place where it kind of looks like there's a break in the song where we can punch one in just for a demonstration.
Okay, yeah, that's what we're demonstrating. So what we would do is say, that's cosplay or role play, I guess. I fucked this up, and producer Max has found where I fucked up, and he's going to start me a little bit before, and he's going to put me in, and I'm going to play and play and play, and hopefully do it right. And then when I've covered that part, he'll stop the music. So if you need to do that, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and demonstrate disembodied voice, Max.
All right, so we'll pretend you messed up here. Let me see where I'm at. Okay, so let's just punch that last tom fill there in.
Okay.
And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it to kind of automatically give you about a 7-second lead in.
Yeah.
So you can then kind of play along with yourself, kind of get in the groove, and then I will punch you out after that tom fill.
Right, and it's very important what Max just said. You want to start about 7 minutes in so you feel like you're naturally playing along with the song instead of, it's not a thing where like, here's this 3 beats that's wrong. Start when those 3 beats happen. You want to start a few seconds before so you can get into the flow of that.
Absolutely.
Go ahead,
Maxwell. All right, here we go. All right, there we go.
So there you go. If you notice, I wasn't real sure where I was exactly when I was into this part, so I just kept playing along so I get into the groove of the song. And then when I saw where we were, and I moved over here. So that would be, let's just assume that I just played over a mistake that I made, and there might have been a mistake right there. Maybe Brother Max found that while I was talking to y'all. So that is a small snippet of a snapshot, if you will, of what it's like to be in the studio. It is, like I said before, driving, like when you're playing live, you're just like you're driving in your car and you're going along and everything's fine. And Max, if there's any questions, go ahead and check those if there is any, or anything funny to any good quips, we'll bring those here at the end. But when you are playing in the studio, it's like you're driving, and maybe you have some illegal substances in your car, and there's two cops behind you. It can be a very mentally challenging event. Because you have it's pressurized. Everything in the studio is pressurized. You've got your band who wants you to get, as a drummer anyway, they want to get your shit done quick so they can get to their part, because they're, guitar players want to get to their part. They don't care what you're doing. Then you have the price of it. The more takes you have to take, the more time you eat up in the studio time, and the more that money burns. There's a reason why there's that upper echelon of studio drummer out there. Your Jim Keltners, your Steve Jordans, your Josh Freeses, your Larnell Lewises. Jeff Piccaro, of course, everybody, he comes to mind. Those guys are those guys because they operate at a top level at all times, and mistakes are a rumor with those people. They just don't mess up. They just sit down and they play what's right. What I showed you today was what mere mortals do when we're in the studio. Because I'm a fair to middling drummer. I'm a fantastic fucking drum teacher and a okay YouTuber, I guess. So I have to really practice a lot to get to the level that I want to record at. And I spent all week this week rehearsing, practicing at the house all of the different elements of this song. Like a good example, that second breakdown, which is that double bass drum thing I was talking about. I played this because this song's at 142. I played this part for about 5 minutes just today. Get that double there completely consistent. I think I did it on a few of those takes. So I would like to thank everybody for watching. Max, you got anything to read from the chats?
I mean, somebody did say you were doing better than Lars, of course. So other than that, I mean, you're getting a shit ton of compliments. A few critiques here and there.
Nice. That's what I want to hear.
But yeah, no real specific questions.
Okay.
That I'm seeing right now. So.
Fair enough. So
I guess it did have somebody ask if you stream on Twitch.
I do not. Should I stream on Twitch? I'm very boomer about anything that's not YouTube. I know that I started playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and I was like, maybe I should Twitch this. Would people watch me fucking play video games? Is Twitch where you play video games on? Max, do you know that? You're younger than me.
See, for a long time, I thought Twitch was like exclusively a video game thing, but I do know a couple of people that are playing music on it now. So
I know 66 Samus does. You know, I'm not a cover band drummer. I know that a lot of Twitch streamers are there, and man, it's very impressive. I watched about 30 minutes of 66 Samus, who I'm actually trying to get on the interview show. I'm about to make contact with with old Sam. And that motherfucker just knows so many covers. Like, I'm not a cover drummer anymore. Like, I know a bunch of covers from back in the day when I was a cover drummer. But, like, now I just you know, I play in original bands and I play the songs that I, you know, help write or, you know, original songs of other people. So I'm not like I'm not the target drummer to play drums on Twitch. Like, that motherfucker, Samus, man, people were just like, here's this deep album cut from like a Slayer record that no one owns, and he knew it. Like, he just knows so much of those. But I don't really spend my time learning covers. The covers that I know really are the songs that I teach my students, and then, you know, I learn them and then I forget them as fast as I teach them. So yeah, I'm not that guy for Twitch. But anyway, everybody who's watched, I appreciate you all watching. Hopefully that I've been able to be a little informative about the act of being in the studio. Today was just a little snapshot, just a little snippet of what's going on. You know, when I go in the studio, I try to not let that stereotype thing of like, oh, we're in the studio, it's party. I'm not really into that thing. I'm into partying once I get my shit done. But if you notice, there's no beverages, any adult things running around here, because I want to be of clear mind and I want to, again, be efficient for finance's sake. You know, and I've never really even, Max kind of runs a tight ship when it comes to partying, because the studio can go sideways real quick once the friends come in. And everybody thinks that we're having a big hoo-ha party because we're in the studio, and that can be a fucking disaster. And I've been part of those, and it's not good. It's not good. So, again, everybody, thank you all. Max, thank you very much for producing and doing all the audio and video for me today. Thank you for being a fantastic producer. Everyone at the house, thank you, or on your phones. Thank you all for watching, and I will be cutting this up and making it the regular video that will be released next week, because I want to get that first part, in case anyone went back to the first missed the first 20 minutes that we didn't have the stream public. There's a lot of good stuff back there, I promise. Go back there and check it out. So again, if you all want to be good in the studio and be efficient and make that song as good as possible, to make it so you can listen to it for the rest of your life and not cringe, you got to keep practicing until it's easy.
All right. Well, thank you for bringing me along. This was fun.
Thank you, Maxwell.
All right. See you, everybody.